Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the meeting of the International Assembly. And here is the President, Anthony Darkstone.
Hello and greetings to everybody. And as is customary, a very good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. And by now, you know why that happens, because we have Assembly members quite literally from almost every country in the world, much to my delight and surprise. We seem to be growing exponentially by the day. I'm going to ask most illustrious to be kind enough, and you can, in a few moments, you will unmute your mic, because there are certain things that are about to happen that would be wonderful if the person involved can actually hear you applaud instead of doing that. So what I want to do is just two parts here, basically. Thank you all for being here, firstly. It's really lovely to see everybody. I'm going to just do some very basic introductions. We're going to take care of the business end of the assembly. Hopefully it wouldn't take us much more than about 15-20 minutes tops, and then we'll just kind of socialize. And if you want to do a little something, that's great. Let's get down to it. Your input is important. This assembly is about every single one of us. So to do it correctly, let me first introduce you to most illustrious Dr. Joel Zawitsky, who would want to say 2 or 3 words of welcome.
Hey everybody, so glad to be here with you. Obviously the location that I'm at is quite different than I'm usually at, because I just spent about 3.5 hours with my IT guys setting up for the National Council meeting. My entire living room, and I will pan around for you, is now screens and all kinds of great stuff here. So there's wires going everywhere. We're getting ready for the meeting, so hopefully you can make it here live. If not, well, we've got you on Zoom here. That's why we did this. So we're looking forward to it. So thanks for being here, everybody.
So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it, but I'd love to have flown to New York, a city I'm quite fond of. But on this particular occasion, I'd love to have been there, because I understand there's going to be 1 or 2 adult beverages at this meeting. Some of them are my favorites, which is going to be over at Joel's house. So one more small formality, and I will introduce you to our first Vice President, Mr. Rod Chow.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. Coming to you from Vancouver, Canada. Actually, I'm at my workplace here in the narrow building, the world's narrowest building. And you can see that we actually have a 3D floor here. And today I wore this little tie here, bow tie, and it actually exactly matches my floor. Have you ever seen a bow tie match a floor before? That's cool, right?
Very, very cool. As and when and if we have a couple of guests join us who are not members, Rod will explain a couple of things in the SAM. However, as all of you are members and you're here, that is absolutely not necessary. Okay, let me go to the next bit of welcoming some people who are not here, some are, to the assembly. We have from Singapore, Mr. Charles Chu. It's interesting because many years ago, literally decades, Mr. Charles Chu was the gentleman who set up the SAM assembly in Singapore. I also want to extend a welcome to, in no particular order, Monsieur Arthur Tivoli from France, Mr. James Jones, Mr. Andrew Sherritt, Mr. Alexander May, and to the best of my knowledge, only member from Africa, anywhere in Africa. He's actually from South Africa. So I'm really thrilled that we are really reaching a lot of countries. So great. And of course, one of our fabulous gentleman who is here, and I love his visual. I've never met him, but I know about his work, Mr. Sal Manfredo. So he's here. So there we are. And Spike Nostrum, Charles Magician, Serena Stone. They're not here, but I'll mention their names anyway. And who have I left out? Oh, I've also been informed, and sometimes I don't know these things, believe it or not, that we now have members from Bavaria. We have 2 from mainland China. We have 1 from Sweden. Why don't I know about it until Manu sends me things? It's because, thanks to the efforts several months ago of most illustrious, who we had a long meeting with PNP Bruce Calver, we have a wonderful section of how to join the International Assembly. So very often when we talk about it, people will just go there and they just fill in the form and join. And I'm not aware that they've done it. With other people, I kind of sit there and we screen share and I run them through what to do. So that's just some information. Right. Now, what we want to jump to next, in fact, is make some appointments. Let's start with, I started this a little while back and it seems to have borne fruit for us. So, you know, if a good idea is working, let's help it along. So what's the idea? Is to appoint. We have already Mr. Dylan Murray as our International Assembly representative over in Ireland. We already have Elmo Huvela, who is our International Assembly representative in Finland. And in conversations with him, I've extended that to the Nordic countries of Sweden, Norway, etc. We have already 2 or 3 people from Norway. We have some people from Sweden. And of course, we have a couple of people from Finland, where Elmo is from. I did speak with a couple of other people, and one of those people I would like to highlight at the moment, and that is Monsieur Arthur Tivoli. If we can highlight him. There you are.
Okay. Yes, I am.
Yes. Welcome, Arthur. And
hello, everybody.
In conversations with Arthur, I asked him, and he very kindly said yes. So he will be our international representative for our assembly in France. Also, I spoke with Michael Leike, Dr. Michael Leike, Canada. Many of you know he does an amazing job of spreading news, different things that we do. And I asked him if he would be kind enough to kind of look after Canada. And he went, yeah, absolutely. I was speaking with the other gentleman last night, a good buddy of mine, J. Scott Berry. He may be still asleep at this time. I don't know. Or rushing around or dealing with a storm. And he said, yeah, absolutely. So he will be our international representative for Oceania, that is Australia and New Zealand. Well, now, very important, after several conversations with him and seeing some of his work, which is really sterling, I had a good conversation with Alan Fisher, and he very kindly offered to be the PR, public relations and press officer for our assembly. So there he is. Thank you, Alan. Right.
Taking notes already.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, he's going to do a little write-up, and we will have our assembly report in MUM. Oh, in Scotland, by the way, we already have Mark Fiskin, who is our international representative in Scotland. I also had another conversation with another good gentleman of mine who's also a good pal. That's just by the way, and that's Mr. Paul Abbey.
Yeah, hi, how you doing?
There you are. I'm doing great, Paul. How are you?
I'm very good. It's been steaming hot here in UK today. Beautiful sunshine. Been out doing bits and pieces in the garden, in the cars and stuff like that. So
I spoke to Paul and I said, okay, we need you to be kind enough to be our SAM International Assembly representative for England. Paul is going to take care of England, and we are talking to a number of mutual friends to bring them over to join us in the assembly. One of them, in fact, I'm delighted to tell you, she can't be here because guess what? She's actually got a gig and she's doing a gig right now. And that's an amazing, one of the top 3 female magicians in the UK, and that's Mandy Mudden, who will also be joining us in a matter of a few days, the SAM and the Assembly. So I'm kind of really, pumped up about that. Appointments. It happened that a particular person approached me and said, can I be a member of the International Assembly? And my reaction was, why? And he said, well, because I'm not officially a member. I said, but you're there all the time. And he said, well, very soon I'll be handing over my wand and scepter and most illustrious title to somebody else. And I said, yes, I know, it's Tom Gentile. I've written an article about him for the July issue. Who am I talking about? This gentleman. So as of now, or in a couple of weeks after the National Council meeting, he will be an actual member of our assembly. Because as president, you are a member automatically of all assemblies. But he will come in. I thought it was absolutely, pardon my vulgarity, friggin' fabulous that he came and asked to be a member of ours. So I'm going to clap. I don't care about the rest of you. Then I got to talking, and unbeknown to him, I had a quick word with other incoming officers like John Midgley, John Sturck, Rod Chow, and indeed Tom Gentile. And I said, you know what? We don't have a dean for this assembly. And I'm proposing that we make our new member, Dr. Joel Zaritsky, our dean. So that's my proposal. So anybody second my proposal?
Wow.
Yes, I will
Second.
second your proposal.
Who was that? I didn't recognize the
me.
voice. Who's, oh, was
There's so
Mr.
many of us.
There's about
We were
15 people
racing
that
to see
said
who could be the first.
We all have.
Thank you. So as far as I'm concerned, do you want to vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, wait.
All those opposed? Turn your mics off. Will you accept Dr. Joel?
I wish you all not miss!
Yay! Dr. So I think that's it. We have a dean, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thrilled to bitch about that. Yeah, I really am. Because it's not just about one or two or three people. It's about all of us getting involved. And we've had a lot of fun so far. So let's kind of like, move it forward. I know we've covered all of that. Now, a couple of other announcements, in fact. We will continue the Darkstone dossiers and gala shows and everything else coming up. And I pretty much have the cast already lined up for the next gala show. I'm not going to tell you now, but so there's quite a lot of work to do, believe me. Most of you know what it involves. It's not just, hey, come on the gala show and that's it. There's a ton of stuff. So those will continue. Darkstone dossiers will continue. But I'm also going to set up a special FB page and possibly a website. What is the special FB page? Well, the special FB page is for people who, for example, I know Tim's just started one, so that'll go in there. For anybody who's got something to sell, it could be a prop, it could be a book. That's what we'll do. It's just an International Assembly thing. If you've got something you want to sell, it goes in there. Do you have to pay anything for it? And the short answer is no. It's part of what the International Assembly is offering for its members. That's it. Oh, giving. So the relationship is between you and the purchaser, or you, if you're the purchaser, and the seller. The other thing we're going to do, and I thought it's about time, after a year, it's about right. The International Assembly wants to make an award to the Magician of the Year. Obviously, going to be one of our members. Yes. I've already had conversations with people who will be judges for that. I mean, I will just organize it, and I don't want to be a judge. But we have competent people who will become judges, and as it unfolds, I'll post more on the International Assembly page, and you will see what's happening. Basically, it will be submitting a video like you would for FISM or somewhere else for a competition. The judges will whittle it down to the top 3. We'll all get together, and then we'll make a really nice award with a certificate, and I'm hoping somewhere down the line we'll get a really nice trophy as well, a kind of little cup or something you can put on your shelf. I've pretty much covered everything I need to tell you. So any questions, anything that anybody wants to say and jump in and speak about their appointment as representatives for their country? Any other topics, or we're going or perform something? I mean, that's fine. So our formal part is now done. Alan has the information for his report for MUM. What have I left out? I'm looking at my idiot sheet. I can't see anything that I've left out. So over to you all.
Well, I'd just like to jump in, if I may.
Sure, Paul.
And just say thank you so much for inviting me in to be the representative. It's really a very special thing for me to say this, because I've had quite a full-on 2 or 3 days, which has been a bit of a nightmare. And since I've been in the SAM, I've been made to feel so welcome. Everybody is fantastic. I absolutely love you, and I can't wait to meet you all. And I've got so much out of being in the SAM since this damn COVID thing has been going on, that being appointed for this is a tremendous honor for me. And I know that all sounds a little bit over the top, but it means a great deal to me, and I thank you very much. And I just want to make sure that I step up to the plate for this. So thank you. I really do look forward to meeting you all someday. Thanks, Anthony.
You're very, very welcome, Paul. And I'm sure every single one of us, including your brother representatives, will get together. And down the line, we'll sort of have a little mini meeting of our representatives, work out things and, what we want to do. So I don't know if there's any other representatives who want to say a thing. Our current ones, for example, Dylan or Elmo.
Yes, if you don't mind, Anthony,
Not-
thank you. I would like, first of all, to apologize for my English. As you know, French people are not the best with foreign languages. But anyway, I would like to, just like Paul has said, to thank you, Anthony, and all the gang. You are absolutely, all of us, amazing. I feel a lot of love and a lot of passion, not only for magic, but for human being also. So a huge thanks.
You're more than welcome. From me and everybody else. Yes.
I just want to thank you, Dr. Anthony and Dr. Joel, for the great leadership you're showing, and also for the appointment. And this is one of the greatest, most friendly magic clubs in the world, and I'm grateful and honored to be a part of it. Thank you.
You're most welcome. I think in case you don't know, for the two of you who don't know, I was chatting to Michael and then introduced him to Tim, and Michael provides us every month with the Canadian monthly magic news. And he's always been very kind. When I ask him, he spreads the word to various assemblies, various IBM places. So I thought, well, you know what, makes sense to ask him if he would be kind enough to be our representative in Canada. So that's it.
Sure. And I just wanted to thank you very much for your wonderful friendship and for all the inspiration you've given since my journey began in the International Assembly last year. To most illustrious and to all fellow members for all their friendship and encouragement, it is much appreciated. And over the next year, looking forward to representing Ireland in our great assembly. Good luck to you all.
You're very, very welcome. Elmo?
Yeah, thank you so much for appointing me to be the representative for the Nordic countries. It was already cool when you asked me to be the representative for Finland, but to represent every Nordic country, that's a true pleasure. Thank you, Anthony.
You're more than welcome, because I know you've been very busy, and he's here today. You have introduced us to one of the fine magicians in Finland, and that's Marty, who's here, I believe. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah,
I know you're very much involved with the Nordic magazines. I mean, I've had stuff appear in Pegasus, but you have this other magazine. You managed to get J. Scott Berry on the cover. So these are the things you'll be working with Alan a lot, because Alan is pretty good by getting things in newspapers. And whenever you guys have something like that, send it to me. We'll put it up in the assembly. And, we want to make this, for want of a better word, I mean, truly global. This is our assembly. So all your input is welcome. Obviously, I'm not going to put posts up of, well, I went down there and I did this gig, or what, unless it's newsworthy. So most of them will run through Alan. Alan will look at it, and eventually at the end of the day, well, he'll make a decision what he does. Because if you've done an article in Finland, like you have, well, that's a good story for Alan to do and to put on the SAM, the official SAM page. Now, I've been working very hard in the background with two gentlemen, and we keep going back and forth like a ping pong ball on the official SAM assembly. I'm going to bring this up at the National Council meeting, and believe it or not, very diplomatically. But the moment you've sent your application in, and all of you now are members for a while, I do always go there and invite you to join. But the people running the page sometimes, shall we say, are busy with other things. So please, if you're not on the official page, the official SAM members page, just go there and keep asking to join, because it's very important that you're also visible there, okay? And if by some strange reason you're not on my private group, the Anthony Darkstone Magic Chronicles, and you would like to be, of course, absolutely. The short answer is yes. Okay. So all of these kind of interesting things are coming in. I'm going to say something to you that I mentioned the other day to one of our representatives, and I truly don't know how far this is going to go, but I'm working real hard on it. I was approached by the culture minister of a particular country. I'm not being evasive. I really can't, because I was asked in confidence. So yeah, I'm not being evasive. I really am not. And the plan is that this particular country and this particular culture minister loves magic. And then he's not a magician, he's a politician. And in the course of conversation, he said, oh, could you come up and maybe, produce a show for me? And would you have access to artists? And I said, well, I think I might be able to do better than that. We have an international assembly, and I explained to him and explained to different people. And he went, wow. And I said, before you get too excited, you do understand that there are plane tickets involved. And if you want big stage shows, there may be cargo involved. He said, oh, I understand because, you've done all this before and, got things from one part of the world to the other. And so on. I said, yeah, but all of these are costs. And he said, that's not going to be a problem. And I said, oh, really? Why is that? And he said, well, we just use the national airline. I went, oh, okay, cool. That's done. And I said, well, people need to stay in certain accommodations. You can't just put them in a little hostel down the road, because we're talking about, well, I said this, world-class performers. And he went, oh, that's not a problem. We have tons of hotels that the government owns. Okay. And I said, well, there's fees involved. He said, I don't think that'll be a problem either. So that's where we're at the moment, okay? That's where we're at. Obviously, we couldn't advance further till we know what, if anything, is going to happen with the Indian and Delta variants, if there's going to be lockdowns and travel. So that's on the back burner. I just, this is just between us at the meeting, okay? That's on the back burner. Obviously, the moment it starts to cook, I will let everybody know and, we'll take it from there. But that's just something in the simmering in the background. Okay, Rod, go ahead.
Sure. I just want to congratulate all of the new appointees, International Assembly representatives. And I've seen, virtually all of you in the gala shows, attending all the meetings. And I know for sure that you will definitely serve this International Assembly well. I have complete confidence in that. And that to have representatives from all over the world and to be able to have the opportunity to bring in other magicians from those parts of the world is really a great thing. Anthony, he looks after the International Assembly members. And just by what he just said just a moment ago, someone approached him to have a show, but he has our interests in mind foremost. Like, the fee, the hotel, flight. I mean, who else, can negotiate in that manner, but still remain very, humble about it. So this is so great, Anthony. And yes, and Anthony welcomes every single member into this assembly. He gives an introduction of that member on Facebook. So if you have people in your parts of the world that want to join, tell them, because Anthony and this assembly welcomes them with open arms and will give them a place here with the SAM as well as the International Assembly. So even birthdays, I've seen Anthony post birthday wishes to everyone here. So this is so great. We have, and he does post things about what other members do, but it's just that he really makes people feel welcome here. And this is the only assembly that you actually get your picture, your picture on a special page on the SAM website. So if you join, you can actually see your photograph on the International Assembly page, which is actually accessible from the SAM national website. So that's another thing that you can tell prospective people from your region that come to join the SAM, first of all, because of all the benefits. But then if there's no assembly in that particular area, then International Assembly and the President Anthony Darkstone and all the members and all the representatives welcome you here to be one of our members, and you get all these benefits, including just to be known out there by being a member of the International SAM Assembly. Now, I also want to make a special thank you. Yeah, that's a round of applause for everyone here. Yes, thank you. And I also want to make a special congratulations to our new Dean of the International Assembly, most illustrious, because certainly he deserves the position. He's been here through day one, tirelessly, manning all the meetings backstage, introducing Anthony, and all the gala shows. He's been there running the gala shows, and even the second deal game show. So our most illustrious has been there from day one, and he certainly deserves the position and the honor of being the SAM International Assembly Dean. So congratulations, most illustrious.
Change the banner.
Let's freeze that one so we'll have a nice screenshot of it.
I'll put it up on screen.
There you go. Regarding birthdays, I only put up the birthdays I know. So if you feel I've missed your birthday, nothing personal. I just didn't know it was your birthday. That's it. Okay. Because I do go to the trouble of checking through and watching who, whatever. And those that I know, they go up. Again, I want to emphasize this little page where we're selling stuff. It's a service to our members who, in turn, if it starts to take off, will spread it to the larger SAM and to the larger Magic community. So let me take you over to Tim Wise, our first BP, and let him tell you about all the new things he's got going on.
Welcome, everyone. It's nice to see everyone's faces today. And what I've noticed, what happened here in COVID is that it has brought us all together. We're more organized, we're more passionate because we get to share the exuberance of what Magic can do for us. You know, I've been a magician my whole entire life, and I'm working with Lance Burton right now on why we get started in Magic, right? The passion starts when we're young, typically when we're pretty young. So that's my focus. Abra.tv is like taking on a new shape, a new vision, if you will. It's going to be subscription model. I'm very excited about that. I've worked very hard to create what I call an aggregate site for Magic. Now, it doesn't matter if you're an amateur, if you just love Magic and you don't perform. If you are a magician, there are the right people here. I have an advertising agency in San Diego here that I'm associated with. So I brought the project of Abra.tv to them to see what do we got here? What do I have here? You know, I started a network, but what do I have? And the owner of the company says, you have all these people, all these, this guy I know, this guy Lance Burton, I've seen him in Vegas. He knew everybody that he had on the network. And he says, you have access to all these professionals. That's what you have. This is what you've assembled. This is what you've created. And in addition to that, I wanted to have a news program. And Anthony initially wanted to have a news program for the assembly, the International Assembly. And I said, well, my bigger vision is to have a bigger news program. And so we cooperated together to create Abra.tv News, which is now grown with not only Anthony and I and my partner Mark, who does all the backstage work, but we have Connie Boyd and Mike Leike, who are now independent segments of the Abra.tv News, which is allowing me to not have to do it all myself, right? Which is huge, because I'm managing quite a bit right now. And but it's opening the doors. Now, what Connie Boyd did for me was introduce me to Paul Romani, who then put Abra.tv in Vanish Magazine in exchange for Vanish Magazine having their own channel on Abra.tv. And then that rolled into what I'm very excited about, which I just had a meeting yesterday. Many of you may be familiar with the project Masters of Magic, which is being produced in Italy. It's like a 12-hour marathon where there's just constant streaming, and it's they did it a couple of years ago. Walter Rolfo was in charge of that in Italy, and so I approached them and said, how do we get that programming on Abra.tv? So as of yesterday, unless anything changes, we'll be broadcasting that entire program on Abra.tv, which is a huge thing for Abra. It's a good thing for Magic. I'm excited because we have a new Magic shop, Abra.tv or abratv.shop, pardon me, which is, we're bigger than Murphy's technically because we have more products than Murphy's. So I want you to just check it out. It's going to if you're a subscriber coming up, you'll be able to save and get discounts and so on. It's very exciting from one chair to be able to create all of this in this last year and a half, right? I mean, really, you sit on your fanny and you go, well, I can't go out and do shows. I can't produce shows. So I'll just build a magic network. So I'm really excited about all the things. We have another thing that I thought of, because we are an international assembly and I have the reach here to say, submit your information to me about your performance availability, because I'm going to hire a professional portion of Abra.TV, because my entire focus is not for magicians. I'm going to be, the advertising angle here is to go to mothers who are, like I told Lance the other day, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars spent on music lessons, guitar lessons, all these different types of lessons to give children discipline. Well, magic's no different. So my focus is to, the marketing is going to be to mothers between 25 and 45 who are looking to get their kids involved in something that will give them aptitude, to give them, coordination, to give them the ability to perform, right? Because magic, the courage, but usually once a kid gets a trick and does it for someone and it's successful, they want to learn that second trick immediately because it's great. So nice to see everybody. It's really great to know that Tom's coming in. Joel, you've been such a big supporter of Abra and everything. I really appreciate it. And now I got to call you Dean Joel, which is awesome. Rod Chow, thank you very much for all your support and encouragement and enthusiasm. Anthony Darkstone, there's really no need to talk about him because he's prolific. I mean, when you talk about people who are after it, Gabe Blackstone and I had a conversation just recently, and she says there's two types of people in the world right now, and this is during the pandemic. She says there are creatives and there are sticks. Now, I took that as very poignant because people are waiting for something to happen versus people who are creating something to do. And so all of these people in this room, if you showed up today, you're creating things for something to do. And so I appreciate your enthusiasm. This is what it means to do magic. I mean, I don't know. Without magic, I think I'd be nuts, right? Because magic really has brought. No matter where I'm at in my life, I can always count on magic as being there. So, thank you so much, Anthony, for the time today. It's great to see everyone. I'm glad for our representatives. That's really huge for the world of magic, and to encourage people young people to get involved. So I'm very excited about the young people component. And I didn't say this. One of the subscription benefits is going to be learn from a professional. So if you go to Abra.TV right now, I have 25 channels. Not everything is all individual magicians, but everyone that I spoke to so far is committing to 5 tricks that they're going to give me to use as part of the subscription. So then I will take those tricks, and then once a week, if you're a subscriber, you get a lesson from one of the professionals, one trick from one professional every week. So the value is you'll get 52 tricks for the subscription or whatever, and in addition to discounts and the introduction to all 3 major magic organizations in the United States, and I'm going to name them in order: SAM, IBM, and then International Magician Society, which Dylan is a very proud member of. All of this cultivates magic, regardless of who the people are, what we're doing. As long as we're really passionate, we're doing the right work. So that's all I got to say, unless there's any questions. But I really appreciate everybody, and it's nice to see you.
Great, thank you, Tim. Some of you have seen this, but this is a clandestine shot after we had dinner of 2 creatives. Obviously, I'm much older in that picture. How cool is that? I treasure this. We were not supposed to do that, but I asked her and she said, nah, I give you permission, so we just do it. I love this picture. I love this picture in that particular corner. If you've been there, you know where that corner is. Okay. Following on from something Tim said, please also encourage people to go to the Friends of Magic, because you're starting to get lay people who can come in and people who actually love magic. And this came about as a conversation I had with Tom. We had many conversations while I was getting the article ready for him. And during one of those conversations, I mentioned my brother who loves magic, who didn't do magic, just loves magic. And that's when Tom brought up the Friends of Magic. I got to thinking about it. Now, here's the synergy with what Tim was talking about. Yeah, you can go there and learn magic. We all know, without exception, every single one of us here know the therapeutic value of magic. Many of us have actually seen children who couldn't speak or move their fingers actually begin to speak and move their fingers. We all have anecdotes about that, how it works. So, there is a lot of healing in here. And if we've been gifted with a skill, which we have, and if we can share that, why not? I mean, really, why not?
We're all ambassadors, Anthony. We're all ambassadors here, And when you get a child involved, usually it's enchantment. When I was a kid, I was talking to Lance. My first exposure was a guy named Roy Kissel. Roy Kissel was a Detroit magician who worked with Carol Fox very closely. And my grandmother had a booth at the Michigan State Fair, and 2 doors down from her booth was the stage for Chevrolet. And Chevrolet booth at the Michigan State Fair always had a magician on stage, and it was either Carol Fox or Roy. And I was 5 years old, and Roy Kissel put me up for the linking rings. And I told Lance this story the other day. He's like kind of an Al Flosso. All right, young boy, here we go. You're going to take, And so he took the 2 rings and he linked them and he handed them to me. And he says, take them apart, boy. And I'm sitting there and I could not. I remember to this day how loud the audience was laughing as I'm tugging on these rings that wouldn't come apart. And he had me on one side on his left and he had a young girl on the right. So he links these 2 rings, hands them to me. I can't pull them apart. He takes them back. He gives them to the little girl. Says, you take them apart. And she just goes bloop and pulls them apart. Now, at that moment, I realized the power of magic. And so a couple of years later, I ordered a Flosso Hornman Magic Company in New York, 25 cents on a postcard. I sent it in to get a catalog, opened it up. And as I'm flipping through, there's the linking rings, $3. So I sent that $3. I had a paper route, so I sent the $3 in and got the rings and got so defeated because it wasn't really magic. I mean, really, what are these things? How does this work? Because I didn't have the aptitude yet to correlate what Roy did so simply, right? So how cool. So that's where it starts, right? The enchantment. So we're all ambassadors to magic. We really are. I mean, working at the mystery school, I really feel like, that was one of the most important things, that we go back into the world. We come in together like this. So we huddle around. We go, hey, what do you think? Yeah, okay. And then we go back, break, and we go back to the world to bring our magic to the world. And what does that mean? Kids are the most influential. Most people that are adults got their hands crossed and they're just looking at the magic going, oh yeah, right. But kids don't have that opinion. They're open. And so if you can enchant a child, point them to the right direction, which is my objective with Abra, to get them a lesson from a professional, to expose them to a magic shop that's of quality, to get them, if they're really interested, to expose them to these organizations, to expose them to mystery school, to expose them to other things, so that it's a discovery path. And magic, as crazy as it is a great discovery path. There's rabbit holes you can fall down in anywhere you really look. So you're right, Anthony, that the young magician and the Friends of Magic is like an opening a door to the big cave of magic, if you will. Like, here you go. You want to peek inside? Good job.
Thank you. Well, kudos to you for putting that particular idea together. And there's the synergy happening, because I've been working and done a couple of articles for Secrets, which some of you may know is the magazine for the young magicians at the Magic Circle. We have, of course, as Chairman Alan Solomon, who is heads up young magicians at the SYM, the young magicians at the SAM. So there's a synergy going on here that we can. And if you feel, okay, you'd like to contribute with a little video or some effects to Tim, do that. Now, why would you do that? Well, different reasons. Mine are, I care about this, I'm passionate about it, and it's my way of paying it forward for all the wonderful things that have been done for me and my son along the way. The other reason, if you want to get really formal and structured about it, it's just very good marketing strategy and PR for you personally. So you can get somewhere, you can get your name out by doing something good for others. If someone else benefits and you're also getting something out of it, it's win-win.
Well, and I'm also going to say that behind my interest here is there's going to be a paywall, whatever the subscription rate is. That it's not free. You know, but the idea here is to give them, when they do subscribe, 10 times the value of their subscription. Okay.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
The contribution of the Magic will not be free. I'm really against exposure for the sake of that, and definitely don't want exposure as part of any of it.
No.
Want people to discover, and then if they have the nose to dive in, if they want to dive in, then they get the benefit of learning. But
exactly, exactly. So it's all good, and I'm delighted, in fact, that all of us here have in different ways contributed to this assembly, which, who knows, one day we may all get together somewhere. I have no idea, but it doesn't matter. We've picked what we've got. I've looked at the USPs, which are the unique selling propositions in all products and all marketing, and said, how can we all bring this together? Rod spoke some very kind words about me, but at the same time, epitomize what we're about. And that's really it. And if, like George Schindler, you think that the dean at this assembly ain't going to do nothing, he's got another thing coming, I'll tell you. He's worked with me before and he knows what I'm like. Yeah. Listen, I'm a little bit brash at times. I talk the hind legs off a donkey. Did anybody notice that? No. And you know what, man, even if I say it myself, I got a good heart. That's it. End of story. I don't have ulterior motives, hidden motives. I just want to give back. And I firmly, passionately believe that by doing that, the kindness comes back to you. So there's a lot of things that we're talking about. We already have J. Scott Berry's lecture. We have Alan Fisher coming up on the 25th of July. I'm going to step a little bit away from that and let somebody else produce all of that. And then soon after that, we're going to get Monsieur Atre Tivoli from France doing his lecture, which is pretty good, by the way. He did one the other day for a club in Bath. And I don't know if you know this, and I'm sure he will tell you a little bit about it. I don't want to, but if he does, he's also actually involved in a magic school with 4 or 5 other professors, teachers in magic. Now, somewhere I noticed that Paul wanted to say something. Is that right, Paul? And then we'll jump to Arthur to explain what he's doing.
Yeah, I just want to add to what you said earlier about the way that magic has brought people together. And one of the greatest privileges that I had with magic was being able to teach it. Jack Delvin, if you know the name, was a president of the Magic Circle for a while, and way back, we go back way back, and he was pretty much a mentor for me in the early days. And he said to me, whatever you do in magic, whatever you do, make sure that anything you're doing to make money is going to be in or around magic. And he said that even includes teaching. So even in my early 20s, I was able to use my skill to teach. And I was teaching. I ran my own club. I wrote for Repro 71. Do you remember Repro with Jeff Maltby, who used to run the shop? I used to write articles for him. And I used to teach. I used to run my own club, and I brought up some of the youngsters. I'm only telling you this not to blow my own trumpet, because I don't run that club anymore. I handed it over to one of my students. But what it did was it gave me so much to be able to give back. So what Tim said really resonated with me, and it just gives you this incredible feeling of empowerment. And then later on, I was able to teach it at the City Lit, which is the City Literacy Institute in Drury Lane for adults, and that really boosted me. And I'm delighted to say I was responsible for some more people turning professional. And again, I'm not saying it to blow my own trumpet. I'm saying it because it's a really special thing to be able to do, and that made me feel good about passing that baton over to others to take it on. But another thing. What you were talking about, the way it can help youngsters and help people, kind of really help them emotionally and center them and focus them. I'm sure you wouldn't mind me telling you this story, but there was a guy called Al Woodrow, and Anthony, you probably know that name from back in the day. Al Woodrow was an accomplished magician and an MIMC at the Magic Circle, and he was an actor like myself. And a little known thing that people don't know about him was that he had the most dreadful stammer. Now, this is a guy that's a stage magician, close-up magician, and an actor, and he's got a stammer. It was magic that actually helped him therapeutically to be able to speak properly. And by learning the magic and getting that confidence to stand on the stage, he was able to perform properly just by learning magic and getting over that stammer thing. So there's a lot behind our art that we do, even from medical, emotional point of view. Just to add that. So thanks for that, Tim.
Yeah,
No, you're welcome. Can I just? Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. If there's not one example, there's a million examples of how magic has helped people, right? And it really, how does it? I mean, how doesn't it help? Right? I mean, when you really think about it, it's like once you understand, it's really when you're curious about it, then that's when you want to learn it. And then once you're there, magic is an amazing place to learn, right? There's so much enchantment, even as adults, when Jeff McBride and I are talking, I'll do a trick. He goes, I'd love to be fooled. And he's 60 plus years old. We love to be like, there's something there, no matter how old you are. And that's another thing. You said you helped adults, right? You helped adults, which means that there's no age limit to when you can enter into this experience of magic.
Absolutely. What I want to do is, I've just been informed that a good buddy of mine, some of you may have heard his name, has just turned up. So let's kind of, while he's here, he didn't hear me do this, but let's do it now that he can hear me. He's the representative for Oceania. Where does Oceania live? Oceania lives all over Australia, New Zealand, and any other place you can think around that part. So where are you, Jay?
Hey everyone, g'day from way down under. Sharing my coffee with all of you. Best wishes. I caught that into that. Totally agree with you, Tim. Likewise, Paul. I could always throw my 2 cents in, but I just said hello. Thank you so much. Cheers. Let's enjoy this.
Yeah, cool. Okay. What I wanted to do next is just go to Arthur in France, our representative there, and maybe he can just tell us a little bit about his school and the other people involved in it.
Yes, with a great pleasure. Thank you, Anthony, to give me the opportunity to speak about my magic school. I came up with this idea last year during the pandemic, and with my wife, we saw so many kids and people around, and they didn't know what to do during this pandemic. So we came up with this idea. First of all, I gave so many magic lessons in different places. So in our little village called Allo, we put it in place, this school called Les Magiciens du Garlaban. And it's a lovely little mountain just near our village. And we have 5 different teachers with me to help me out. We have actors, we have people from the circus to learn how to move on stage. We have also dancers and a musician to learn the rhythm. When you perform magic, as you know, it's all very important. So we have different talent in this school. They all do magic, of course, but with their special skills. So it's very cool, and we are very lucky. We don't have tons of students. We have so far only 20 people, but we are very proud of them, and I hope that with the SAM we can do and organize something else, and we try to organize in France something like a federation of all the magic schools that we have here in France, to do one state with all the magic schools, and I hope that we can organize that. So I'm very proud and lucky to be part of the International Assembly of the SAM.
Very welcome and very honored to have you here I've just seen a message that incoming most illustrious has just written, Tom Gentile. And I wonder if, Tom, if you would be kind enough to actually say or read out what you wrote. I don't want to read it. I think you should.
Well, I've had my hand raised for a while, so I figure I better write it. I do want to congratulate Dr. Joel as Dean. Also welcome to all the new appointees in the various countries and locations all over the world. Keep in mind, of course, that as we elevate and advance the art, as the SAM, we do appreciate the value of the youth and the future of magic. For those of you that know my history, I have been long associated with National Magic Week. And during National Magic Week, we would celebrate the fact that when Houdini would go to various new locations, he would visit the hospitals and entertain the children. So we've pushed that through the last week of October. About 6 months ago, we were asked by Joel, most illustrious, and various people that were already doing some work in semi-organized fashion of hospitals, magic in hospitals. And it's amazing the studies to get into the pediatric wards and get into the emergency rooms and people where children are and people who really need not so much a way to get away from it, but a distraction as to their anxiety and stress and what they're experiencing from what they say the white coat anxiety that really adults suffer from. So what has come from that is the SAM, along with recognizing that we have Friends of Magic, we have a new pool to draw from and introduce magic to. We have all of these children sitting and waiting in hospital wards. The average stay of a hospital, the average stay of a child in a hospital is 3 to 5 days. So every 2 weeks so twice a week, there are new potential audiences in the hospitals that we can show magic to. Now, there's a new program, and it's called Magic in Hospitals. And we are going out, and people are going to be supplied with different lessons and certifications. You do have to become a youth protection trained individual, which is through the SAM. And I don't know how much it's been advertised in past the United States, but if you've been reading MUM, there is a big call to get out there and connect with the youth. They are our future. I can tell you back 20 years ago, we had 2,000 youngsters in the SYM. We had 200 assemblies 20 assemblies for the SYM. And now they're not that active. Yes, they get older. Yes, they age out, but they have brothers and sisters. They have cousins. They have friends. And please get the word out to other people. Now, I really welcome the help, because 20 years ago, and Anthony will bear this out, we had different regional vice presidents and international representatives from various countries. So you guys are on the apprentice plan, as far as I'm concerned, for me. Norway, Sweden, Finland, France, Canada, Australia, Scotland, England, these were all countries where we had other representations. So if you want to step up, please familiarize yourself with what the SAM has to offer. We offer liability insurance. We offer, help to individuals who are in need with the Houdini Fund. We help magicians in nursing homes with the Slidini Fund. And now we're helping out kids with this magic in hospitals. So, and we have many, many friends of magic that really welcome the idea, let's keep this art alive. We've been around for 5,000 years. They found cups and balls on the walls of the pyramids from years ago. So there was some poor guy doing cups and balls for the ruler of a country way, way back. And there's a reason that that's a classic. There's a reason that art is such an entertainment. Magic keeps people going. We were there for 9/11. We were there for Hugo. We were there for Katrina. We are there for anyone who needs us. We bring the idea that you're not alone. We help you through a tough time. So I welcome all of you to the SAM roles. I welcome all of you as ambassadors and representatives of the SAM. And my slogan is we do more together. And we're looking at everybody on this screen. I see 24 people, and we will do a lot more together in the next coming months. And I welcome all of you to the SAM, and glad that Anthony found you.
I was a little bit remiss in a couple of things, and I'll take care of that right now. Firstly, I just want to acknowledge a very, very good buddy of mine who I could sit here and praise him from now till Christmas next year, and I'm glad he showed up. You'll know his name if you read the credits on various shows I produced. You will also know his name because he's been very helpful to you as individuals. So I just want everybody to give a nice round of applause to this magnificent man who has done so much for us behind the scenes. And that's my buddy from Vegas, Mr. Mark Williams.
Bravo!
Yes, bravo indeed. I'm also delighted to welcome here as a guest of mine, a fine magician and a wonderful gentleman, and who also made an excellent volunteer for Rod on the last gala show, and that's wonderful John O'Riordan. So glad you're here as my guest, John.
Nice to see you again, John.
Nice
John.
to see you. Yeah. And then, of course, I hope I pronounced this correctly. I'll probably get it wrong. Herpetologist. I'm just going to call him the Snake Man. And that's Daryl Sprout all the way from Texas. Hey, Daryl, good to see you, buddy.
Hello, everyone. Great to be
And of course, Michael Kelly, who I have plans for. He doesn't know it, but I have, over in the Isle of Man. It's a great place. You may have heard of it because of the Manx, M-A-N-X, cats. And of course, it would be really, really remiss of me not to ask you all for a wonderful round of applause. I have ulterior motives for this, in case you didn't know, to probably the most magical cake maker in the world, Donna Horn.
Thank you.
I want to acknowledge Austin Moody, also from Texas. Before I turn over the floor, I did ask him specifically. I have acknowledged him. Alexander May, one of our recent members, all the way from South Africa. I've asked him to actually talk a little bit about some of the props and things he creates. Before I do that, I want to embarrass the heck out of somebody here. I really do. And the reason for that is when Paul Abbey was talking, he mentioned Jack Delvin, who was a former president of the Magic Circle. In one of my trips there, I had a kind of filmed interview with him, and we were up in the Devant room, and while we were filming, it was fine. But when we got to watch the footage, there was this dreadful sound of people talking in the background, you know. I thought, oh, forget it. And I just, some months ago, just threw this out in the open and said, is any smart people out there can help clean this up? And this wonderful gentleman, I'd never met him. I heard his name, but I don't know anything about him. Nothing at all. Just when I could do that. I went, oh, okay, that's very nice. So I said to him, you know, how much are you going to charge me for that? And he said, nah, nothing. So he took it, and in less than 24 hours, he turned it around. Oh, wow, this is an amazing guy. Who is he? Really? Let me find out some more about him. So I did. And then lo and behold, I found out he was this amazing illustrator. If you watched the last show, his Vernon print went as a thank you to Harriet. He's got all these wonderful things that he is giving away for very little money, you know, canvas prints, all kinds of things. And he's one of the people I'm going to put on special for sale page, I'll call it, right? Because we need to support other people. We definitely do, with their lectures, with their art, whatever they're doing. I then approached him. I got to know him by then, and we chatted a little bit. And I approached him and I said, I need a favor from you. He said, what's that? I said, well, oh, I'll take care of your website because I wanted to make changes to it. And the company I had went out of business. And I didn't know what to do. I'm not just stupid with this stuff. I don't know. This particular guy said to me, well, that's okay. I'll take care of it. So he really totally revamped my website. And I kind of went, yeah, how much is it going to cost me? Yeah. And he went, nothing. This is one of our members. I'm not going to embarrass him and tell you who he is. But he did it all. And I went, wow, no, really, listen, how much it's a damn thing. He went, nothing. And I went, shit, what do you do? This is this coming back thing. The gentleman I was referring to earlier on, not the one who did my website, I approached him and I said, look, I want to do a unique gift. This guy's done my website and I want a unique gift. And as far as I'm concerned, would you be kind enough to do this illustration and sign it and everything else? Because I want to gift it to him. And how much is it all going to be? To which this particular gentleman who did the illustration went, nah, it's okay. Nothing. No, listen, come on, just work. And, I get it. Just tell me. He went, no. I said, look, you've done this for me. You've given away stuff to the assembly. Now you're giving this to me. No, anyway, not only did it arrive to me, mine arrived in real life, not just on a screen, couple of other ones, and Vernon. And I'm like, whoa. And I'm looking at the postage and he's going, well, he's even paid $15 to get it to me. So I get in touch with him and I'm going, listen, you won't accept anything from me. Will you at least take the goddamn $15? And he went, nah, give it to somebody. So we did, to a hospice in England. So I just went in there and I threw in the money that he spent on postage. Now, seriously, turn your mics on, please. And don't just applaud this man, but give thanks that such people walk this earth. Ladies and gentlemen, John Midgley.
Bravo!
Bravo, indeed. Yes.
Amazing! I love you!
Well, I think I pretty much acknowledged everybody here. If I left you out, I do humbly apologize. So thank you, Donna and Drew, for being here. It's great. Nice to see you guys.
Good to be here.
Thank you. I asked Alexander if he would actually maybe show us a few things, but tell us what he does. I'm definitely going to be talking to him and featuring some of his work in our sort of private for sale page. So, Alexander, over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, this whole prop thing sort of came about by accident. I was looking for just props to use in my show, and all the props you could get were either not realistic or they were kind of like the hard crude and things like that. So I was just going through it and I thought, let me try and make something, see how it turns out, and turned out pretty well. And yeah, one thing led to another, and all of my stuff is now for sale at Murphy's. You can just Google my name and sponges. That's pretty much will bring you up with Murphy's, and it's for sale pretty much everywhere. I bought some examples along, like a Rubik's Cube. This is a Rubik's Cube,
wow,
but it's made out of sponge. So it compresses pretty nicely. If you want to make that appear out of nowhere, and you can switch into a solve. And this one is I'll try and get it nice to the camera. This is a sponge donut, which you can use also. I sort of use that in dove pans and things like that. And this is one of the best sellers. Is a little balloon dog. Also, sort of put it in a balloon and pop it, and then it sort of twists itself into a thing. And now there's all sorts of things like French loaves. I've got a hammer also as well, and yeah, there's a hamburger that shows. And then yeah, I also do some custom work. A lot of people started asking me to do custom designs for them. So the last few things I've worked on is a Sponge X, and also the monkey wrench. Yeah, and that's sort of like, I think the idea was for the gag where you would select someone from the audience by throwing a brick into the audience. You would throw an X or a monkey wrench or something like that.
Those are all great.
Aren't they, Tim? I mean, wow! I've never seen them. Yeah, it came about because somebody in the Magic Circle told me that he wanted something for his son's wedding, which went into a dove pan. But because it's a wedding, it was a cake. I actually posted it on our page. Yeah, that big wedding cake. And I actually asked Alexander, he said, oh yeah, I do a few other things. And I said, well, you know what? Bring them, show them at the assembly meeting. Yeah, let's do this, man. Let's help everybody out. Because how do we do that? Well, basically by, supporting their lectures, buying a ticket, by supporting their products, by supporting the TV channels, whatever these folks are doing. Let's just get the word out to other people. So if you want to buy something in Sponge, this is your man. So there you go. Yes, Tom.
If I may, Harriet could use a little bit of help.
Yes.
Harriet is working on, and Harriet, now you have international cuisine that you could draw upon.
Yes.
Harriet is formulating a cookbook
Oh.
that is going to be raffled off and as a prize or available through the Magic Museum, American Magic Museum in Marshall,
Michigan.
Michigan. I'm sorry.
Right. It's not going to be a prize, but it's a fundraising
Fundraiser.
for the museum.
Now, I thought it was just the recipe, but I was informed yesterday at the cooking show that
Yeah.
you have to supply a photo of either your finished dish or you are making it. So we have international cuisines here. So if you can help out Harriet, get her a recipe, she'll give you her email and you contact her and everybody will eat well in the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, I have a link that I have to send because there's a lot of information that I need from you, a little bit about your magic involvement and if the recipe, like I know Tim had a restaurant, so it's going to be very intriguing and very special. So I'll put my email address in the chat. And then I have to send you a special link that my son has helped me establish because there's a release in it. And I definitely need, if you send the recipe without the picture, I'm going to contact you because I need your picture of you cooking or putting the recipe together or something, because that's the uniqueness of what this cookbook will have to offer. So it's easy. It's harriet.jacobson@gmail.com. And just everybody is being so generous and I'm so grateful. And I do want to say something. This has been a tough year for everybody. I know that. And Monday, June 14th is the anniversary of my husband's death. But the magic community and these I'm sorry, these Zooms and the camaraderie and the friendships that have been established through all our years in magic have really gotten me through this last year. And you've all been a blessing to me. And I thank you for that.
We love you, Harriet.
Thank you.
I'll echo that. We love you, Harriet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons of love from France.
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you. And I will get information. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get teary, but you're
Harriet, don't be sorry, please.
You're very special.
You're among friends. You're a very special lady. I've known you for what? Oh my God, over 10 years or more, actually. Yeah. You've been a great asset to this assembly, been very supportive. And all I will simply say is, may his memory be a blessing.
Thank you. It is. It is.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing, Anthony, if it's okay.
Sure.
Dr. Jewell, thank you very much for getting over to David Copperfield's, presenting that award. That was really great. And I don't know if we had a chance to acknowledge that today, but it was a little past here, but thank you. That was awesome. Also, I want to thank Dr. Joel for creating a new video to head the page on Abra.tv. He created just a little intro, introducing himself, talking about magic, Houdini, the masters, and how they can join the SAM. So thank you, Dr. Joel, for supporting Abra. And I didn't say that earlier, but I wanted to make sure I did that.
Absolutely. There's a fun backstory on that real quick. It's a short one, but it's a fun one. I hadn't said much to Tim about it. I just said, we've got some exclusive stuff for the news. And he's like, I know Tim because I'm full of mischief, as you guys know. He's kind of like, what is it? I can't tell you. I'm sworn to secrecy. Actually, I was sworn to secrecy by Joel. And we got this together and I said to Joel, why don't we do it this way? Instead of me writing it up, I'll do the write-up for MUM, but can we do it, this way? So, and if you look at the clip, there's the clock in his hotel room in Vegas. It's like 6 a.m. and we do this little thing about the presentations and the videos. So, but it's really very, very cool. And with Jeff and Abby, of course, getting presented with their citations, etc. Okay, anybody else? And please, yeah, keep in touch with me because I do the lead writing and research for Abra News. I mean, there are other contributors, obviously, but I get it together, whatever, right from the get-go, get it to Tim. And it's a collaborative, you know, we just help. Nobody gets paid for anything. We just do it. So anything you've got like that or about it, feel free to get in touch with me. And now that we have Alan as our PR and press officer, keep him informed. Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't get back to you within 10 minutes, wait. Believe it or not, he's got other things to do as well. So, you know, he will get back to you and acknowledge it. Same with me. You know, I get kind of, as you can imagine, tons of emails and stuff.
A lot of the news, Anthony, I mean, what we're doing on Abra is bringing the organizations forward in the news. So
yes.
The Magic Circle, the IBM, the SAM, they're all brought forward in the news. And so this International Assembly has, we have opportunity for a lot of news here. If everybody, yes, you know, contributes something to, hey, what's happening? Are you doing a show? We can't include everything, but the idea here is that if we could be an aggregate site for people to find out, and then these organizations, by doing the news with the organizations in the front, it brings the organizations to the front through the news, and then also the importance of the organizations, and then everybody's involved in the organizations have importance based on that, right? So if you have something to contribute, please do, and send it to Anthony, Allen, or whatever. Just get it to Anthony, and then he sends it to me, and we kind of have to go through the editing process and whatever, and put it up on. And thank you, Mike Leakey, again for his contribution, and Connie for her. She's not here because Connie Boyd is a firehouse. Okay, this woman is on fire, and she does the work. She's not afraid. She's very, you know, she's not out there as a socialite, but she's really, really a rock star for magic, and especially for women in magic. So I'm grateful for that.
Now that you brought up Connie, who's one of our members, as you know, I will tell you this much. I've had conversations with her, and this woman's a trooper, because through all of this, she not only cared for her mother who was ill, but actually her passing and all the things that affects a human being, but never once faltered. And as J. Scott Berry and I often say, you know, you just don't worry about it. You know, the toilet's backed up or the dog's falling over or, you know, whatever. You're pro. You got to do that. It's your commitment. You just go out there and do it. So kudos to Connie of having all that on her personal life, but still, you know, coming through with stuff.
What's what got her through, Anthony? It's the same thing with me, with my beloved. You know, my girl is got pancreatic cancer. She's in her last weeks of living, I believe, just based on her condition. And in this last year and a half, I've been nothing but caregiving, and magic has been the buffer, because without it, where would I be? You know, wow, I created a magic network in the last year. So,
see, I don't mean to embarrass people, but, you know, I'm just a very plain, ordinary, simple guy. And really I am. Those who know me very well know that. You know, I'm full of passion. I'm enthusiastic, perhaps not the most diplomatic at times, but hey, you know, that's who I am. Well, you know what? I'll just summarize it. It wasn't Plato, but it's often attributed to Plato, who supposedly said, "Be kind. You have no idea of the battles that some people are going through." So, you know, this is what kindness is all about, man. You know, somebody having a conversation about somebody else and understanding, you know, what they're going through. But you know what? I want to lighten this up by quoting something that my grandpa said to me a long time ago. He said, "Vitoshka," that's like a word for grandson in Lakota. "You know, whatever in life doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Except bears. When you see bears, run like hell." That was my maternal grandfather, from which some of you all know this backstory on it that involved Eugene Berger as to why I'm called Darkstone, because that actually was his name. His name was Keeper of the Stones That Are Dark. So let us celebrate the magic that's here. Is there anybody who wants to do a little something?
I just want to point out that Alan is going to do magic writing up these minutes, because you're only allowed 400 words, Alan.
Oh, well, hang on. If you saw me at the Darkstone DOS say, it takes me 400 words just to say hello. The hell do you
Right.
need 400 words? Hang on.
Speaking of all of that, did you bring any cookies?
Actually, at the moment, some brand new pound cake recipes are being tested to see how they'll work. One is, I believe, a brown sugar pound cake. We just finished off perfecting the latest chocolate fudge cake. And oh, yes, they're really, really good, which is why I am so grateful
I think
that
Marge,
this is all Zoom is.
Marge and Harriet should speak.
I need recipes.
Let me see what I can do. She doesn't share her recipes with the family.
Harriet, even if it's in French, you want the recipes?
Oh, yes, but maybe we could get it translated to
Okay, I will do that for you.
Can-
And with the pictures, of course.
Well, does anybody want to do a little something? If not, I'm going to choose a volunteer who's just raised his hand because I watched this yesterday and I'm like, yay! I'm glad I feel like a layperson now. Go ahead, Jay. Do that thing that you do, new thing that you do. Oh, for goodness sakes, put it on speaker view so you could see him on the screen. Put it on speaker view so you can see it. This is brilliant. I love it. Made me feel like a layperson.
Okay.
Watch this.
Now, what I'd like to share with you, this actually goes with apologies, Anthony, because we're going to keep what you're referring to as the secret for the lecture.
Oh, okay.
A lot of things
All
in
right.
the- a lot of
you
things
do
in the
it.
lecture. However, I would like to share something that goes right in line with what you were discussing earlier about, the hospitals, the chance to give something, give it a memento. So I've realized personally that whether I like it or not, my life is now in service of the arts. It's like that idea from the Wizard of Earthsea, where Ogion the wizard says, you realize sooner or later that you have but one choice. All the grandmasters and the giants whose shoulders I stood upon with great respect, it's like the torch is being passed. So now that's a grandiose opening for what I want to share with you. Okay, simply giving. Everything I'm doing from this point forward is simply giving into the continuum of the art. All right, so this is one of the simplest and coolest things. Now it can be done as a lead into a magic with torn and restored or whatever, but that's not the point. Just this. You can have your little, take this and this and this. So then nice 1, 2. Tissue paper, as simple as can be. Here we go. Another piece, this can be. That goes to there like that. This goes like this, and this folds up. Grab that. This is, hold on. Gotta get that piece there. It does work better on the table. I'll show it a second time in just a moment. Now, this is what I call the icing on the cake with this new lecture. I give this as a final little extra gift. And I do this in shows, I'm doing this in roving magic, when I have an assistant on stage. And it's this ability, just twist and turn.
I love it.
I love it. Great.
And twist and turn. And it becomes this perfect little memento. I mean, it's at the moment, right? Right at the point they go, oh, and the wonder starts in hospitals and all these things. And, whether it's from what I do is kids to corporate, it doesn't matter, But this ability to just turn that very quickly into that. And of course, the first thing they do, you give it away. This is this perfect little thing. Give it away. And they want to smell it. So I've got the rose spray. You go pop, just one hit, and then what you've given them is a keepsake. It's just this magical little perfect rose keepsake. Okay. So from the practical point of view, we'll go over to my little close-up workspace here. They can be as small as this. I mean, it can be, I use them with cloaking device. You can do a 2-person amputator, restore, lots of magical potential. But really, tissue paper is one of the least expensive and one of the most just magical things, you know? So what I've done is I've realized with a simple A4, or in your case, letter size, whatever, wherever you're coming from, notebook, and about $10 at the dollar store, I can load myself up to produce hundreds of these as gifts for sort of any situation, whether they're pre-folded in my wallet and just pull it out and go pop, pop, pop. Okay. Now, the idea of the napkin rose is not new. So what I've done is, I mean, you can, what's cool is they can choose the colors if you want. But what I've realized is that by making it out of tissue paper, and here's that fold one more time, just so you can see what we're doing. So in millimeters, this is 250 by 200. It corresponds to how the you buy the paper. Okay, it folds this way. You can pre-fold some of this to speed. It just goes this way. It goes this way. Okay, so that's half and half. This one goes just a little bit farther, about 1 centimeter. I just measure that. It is easier on the table, of course, because this edge will wrap around and make that nice, clean connection. Now, same size on the green. This lifts up. You can see there. That's lifting up here and here. Folding down. This locks the flower to the stem. Good. Now from there, it's like a napkin rose. See? And just here, we come right up to there, and it's a tube. It's the perfect thing, nice and clean, And right here, that's the edge, that little extra, that thin layer is what gives you this perfect connection. And it's just that. And it's one of those things where even the kid crying in the grocery store gets in a complete meltdown behind me. I've got this sort of ready. I pull the tissue out of the wallet, and within 30 seconds, you transform the moment. Of course, a business card can go along with it, whether it's, this is the point. I'm still talking. Right, here you go. So the corner of this, you get the stretch, just so you see that. The outside corner, like a napkin rose, that just goes, I've torn it now. All right. Just like that, coming up 2, 3, and in this case, I just wrap that around, nice and easy, and a perfect little rosebud with always a bit of spray. So there you go. That's my gift to you all. Please use it. Again, I find it from stage when I have a volunteer up, it'll be so practical because of whether it's a magic effect that leads into it or simply creating the flower. And then I say, all right, well, meet me out in the lobby, and you do the giveaways, you do the business cards, the sign, the photos, all that, and you make these. So the same thing with roving magic, strolling magic. I just sort of have that ready, tips go up, practicality, you give them a gift of magic.
Thank you, Dre. That's great.
Okay. I will be posting about this. As I say, he's going to be our first lecturer on the 20th of June. I've seen the visual for the poster. It's absolutely friggin' awesome, but you'll see it when I post it. And it has Stonehenge in it. Why? Well, the 21st of June so it'll be the 21st of June for Jay and still the 20th for us on Sunday. And I'll be posting all about that. Even if you don't want to do magic, like some of us here don't actually do magic, watch this lecture. I've seen it 3 or 4 times, and every time it's like, whoa. Okay, so you'll get all the info on it eventually. Yeah, in the next week or so. Yep. Okay.
Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Jay, one of the lines that I know has been used when you do the paper rose, and you hand it to the person and you say, smell it. Now they are expecting it to smell like a flower, and then it doesn't. And you say, well, what's it smell like? And they think about it and you go, well, it smells like paper. And then you can, if you can secretly put, even if you do a little dab of oil, the rose water, you can sneak that in and give it out. Then it's in. And I tell everybody, do not put it in water. And I have had waitresses 20 years later still having that rose in the restaurant, sitting behind the service station.
Yep. Yeah.
It goes away.
Todd Carr put out, what you could do is get some rose scented soap
Yes.
or wax and carry just a small dab in your coat
Mhm.
and then just dab when you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
rose essential oil is pricey stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, just some rose scent, anything, because all you need is the trigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Mode.
Michael put the napkins out, and I always give him credit as well in the lectures. Same thing. So he put out the original pre-printed napkin, and then I like the idea of being able to spontaneous, like making balloon animals, but they don't pop. You know, there's a spontaneity of colors, and a lot of the kids now, if you know Minecraft, Wither Rose, the Wither Rose is huge in Minecraft. But that's a black rose. So the moment they're like, yeah, it's just a flower, I said, hold on, I'll make you a wither rose. They're like, whoa. And then they all want the black roses. So it's finding the connection that they're going to relate to. Yellow rose of Texas. It's like, oh, make a nice little yellow rose. There's something true. It's that moment of total connection and endearment when you're making it special color. Oh, you want that color? Great. Well, so that.
It's an amazing gift to give. Well, I do that on stage for more than 10 years now with the Michael Mode stuff, and it's always a great response from the audience. And I love the way you are doing it.
The big moments in shows aren't the big illusions. Typically, they are the moments where you hand the rose, make the balloon animal, sit on the stage, you know, the endearing moments, because that's when the magician breaks the fourth wall typically. And so then he's a human. And if you can bring that human element, then there is no fourth wall anymore. And so then the magician goes back up. It's one of the things I discovered working at the Magic Castle behind the bar is that most people come, here's my magic, and then my name is such and such. I go, hello, everybody. And I introduce myself to everybody, because if I can endear them and hold them in a space where there's a rapport of some sort, then anything I do will be good after that. I won't have to impress them with the magic in a way that you think you have to as a magician. You come, hey, I got to do the magic first, and this is what I am. And by the way, my name is Tim Wise. No, I come out the other way. I go, by the way, how are you? Nice to see you. What's your name? Where are you from? How you doing? What's everybody's name? And then I go, here's my magic. And then if everybody's arms are down, everything's easy. Just come out with truth after that. Be true.
You're so right. You're so right, Tim. And Jay will do his, God, how long ago was that, Jay? 20 years, Fulton Castle up in Scotland. And the gentleman, blessings for his memory, dear Ali Bongo. I mean, he lived it. If they like you, they like your magic. I've just finished a feature on Scott Wells for MUM, which I don't know when it's going to come out, but anyway, it will, because Alan asked me to do that. And there's a wonderful picture in it of myself and Scott, and I'm like going, and Scott's going, and right in the middle is Ali Bongo doing Shmuel the Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Because you remember that, Jay? You were like, no, we need that. We didn't get it for you on stage. We'll do something. Don't worry about it. And I'm not going on without it. And you don't worry about it. Perfect producer director, Jay. Don't worry about it. We'll get it. We'll sort it out. In the meantime, Ali Bongo's going out there. We would say killing time. He went out there, took his teeth out, and did, yeah, my pretty.
Oh my God.
Honestly, you know, this is the caring we talked about in front of the whole audience while they're scurrying around. And I'm being the prima donna, and I'm not going on without it. Well, I couldn't go on without it, because if I didn't have the damn thing to write on, I couldn't do my first opening bit. So Jay just went in there, they managed it, they got it all right. Anyway, it was all done. And then later on out in the courtyard, I think the guy who had put up the money, whatever, this National Trust of Scotland or whatever it was called, said, oh, can you all mingle and do something? And so, yeah, sure. So we started mingling. And that's when he said to Ali, do your Gollum thing. And he went, okay. And there is always people around, Scott Wells and myself. And fortunately, Scott Wells saved the picture. Saved the picture, and I've got it, and it'll be in the article. I'm sure we could all go on for hours. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for the camaraderie. Thank you for accepting all the positions. If there's a position and somewhere you want to represent, please get in touch with me. Please say, look, I want to do this and I want to do that. And, we'll all work something out. I don't have the monopoly on good ideas. You're here. We're all family. You're part of the assembly. Anything you come up with, we'll sit down with the dean. We'll chat it through. I don't know, that maybe just Daryl might say, hey, I'd like to come up and do something. It's not a lecture, but I'd just like to do something, using my snakes and armadillos or whatever it is. Oh, no, it's not an armadillo. What was it you've had? That big creature? Jay, you knew that creature. I never met him. What was that big creature you had? What was his name? Harvey's?
That was Capone.
Capone, that was it. Yeah, I was close. Yeah. It was Al Capone. Yeah, I was close. Yeah.
Capone was a rock
I'll
star.
put up some photos. You can't believe this was the coolest. I mean, I love.
I know. You guys.
Yeah. I love the lizards. The lizards have great personality. You sort of get past the phobias. They're amazing characters, and there was none that was cooler than Capone. He was this big. Yeah, we got photos. Jeff McBride holding him. I'm holding him. I was on stage. We were on stage. We did a mentalism effect with this giant lizard. The crazy things you do only once or sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
The most memorable, like that you just said with Ali Bongo.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, God, we got some stories. Yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
I will post a few photos for you, or Daryl will.
Do that. I think I've seen a couple of them, but you probably have more. So, just an idea, if ever you come over and say, "Hey, Anthony, I want to do this," maybe just talk a little bit about snakes or whatever. We can do it and open it up to people, and they can buy a ticket, whatever. So anyway, lectures coming up, 20th of June, J. Scott Berry, 25th of July. The one and only Mr. Alan Fisher, and a date to be decided shortly after will be Monsieur Arthur Tivoli from France.
Anthony.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's John O'Riordan here.
Yes, John.
And thank you for allowing me to be part of your presentation tonight.
Lovely to have you.
Just wonderful to see so many lovely people talking about magic, and it's a real motivation for myself. And congratulations to everyone involved who's part of the assembly. And I'd like to thank Rod publicly for making our special evening for Tess and myself with the wonderful card trick. And we received the package, and I'd like to thank you, Rod, for that. And I will actually, you've motivated me tonight. Hopefully I will join you, become a member. I think it's a wonderful organization. I'd like to be part of it. So
I've been nagging you enough, John.
I've got to promote you and push you into it. Then John is in my new role as representative now.
Yes, I'm just going to say.
You can, Paul. You can badger me. You can push me. But it's so nice to see you.
Well, it will give me a ton of pleasure to see your name on an SAM certificate.
Oh, thank you very much.
It really would. It really would for me personally, and I'm sure everybody else is clapping. Yeah. Just a very quick thing. You know how people I cross between the two cultures, so it doesn't. I understand it well. People in the States kind of go, "Oh, wow, Magic Circle. Yeah, what wouldn't I give to use that logo on my website and on my business cards?" Yes.
Yes.
The opposite happens outside of the U.S. People go, "Wow. The Society of American Magicians. What wouldn't I give to have?" Trust me, I know this. And people do this. They look at it and they kind of go, "Oh, wow." I mean, we had the president, he's resigned now. We had the president, Noel Britton, as a member of our assembly and the SAM. We still have Catherine Rhodes, who's the secretary of TMC. And we have a ton of people, gold stars and MMCs, etc. Several of them are here, right? And silver stars and AIMCs. So it's not a kind of rivalry. They've always, for decades, have worked side by side.
Interwoven.
Yeah, exactly. Tom and some of the guys like myself a little bit long in the tooth.
Since
you remember-
1909, I think.
I
1909
don't know
or
about that,
1911.
John. I don't know about that, John. I do know, but in the 1990s, the
That was
Magic
19
Circle would always show up and do like a special show at the SAM conventions. They would have a cocktail party at this. So there's always been that kind of thing. And, you know, I said this to Joe, if we're looking for new members, we have to get somebody obviously speaks a common language. That's a help. And then, you know, I know a few folks there, you know, and I've been gently kind of persuading them, and they go, "Oh, but I'm not an American." I go, "Well, that's fine. You don't have to be." Really? I said, "No, you don't have to be." And since Joe very kindly set this all up through with myself and PNP Bruce Calver, some of you know what this is. People can now just go there. And it says, I mean, I wrote the text right up there. You don't have to be an American. You know what? Neither was Harry Houdini till he became an American. So, yeah, you don't. I mean, you know, we've got a South African here. We've got Canadians. We've got an English guy here. We've got whatever. I didn't. Oh, look, there it is.
That centers it out. There you go.
There it is.
There you go. And the SAM's got a pretty cool badge as well, hasn't it?
That looks sharp.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
wonderful.
video of it. There we go. Woohoo!
The Sam is smoking Stonehenge. Fire.
And this is what, well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of SAM people who've been up there. Bill Palmer, myself, Jeff McBride with Eugene. There's a fabulous photograph of Jeff and Eugene at Stonehenge many, many years ago. It's a great place. You want to hear a bad joke? They hire people overnight to move the stones when the hour changes. Okay, I told you it was a bad joke.
I've got to tell you, Anthony, I went to Stonehenge way back in the 80s when I was with all my biker buddies. And that was back in the days when they didn't have a fence or a gate. And you just pulled up to the side of the road, and we just kind of like wandered over there, and you touched the stones and hugged the stones, and you got that spirituality and stuff. You know, it was really cool. And there we were with our tinnies drinking and stuff. And now it's like Fort Knox, unless you go in with the pagans, then you can go in with the pagans on the longest day and get in there.
They get to climb the stones.
Yep. Yeah.
They sit on top of them. It's really something.
But there was a story way back when Stonehenge was just completely open, and it was actually the land was bequeathed by a lady, I can't remember her name, it was Lady Farquhar or something, and she bequeathed the Stonehenge to the nation. So it shouldn't have really been taken over, but there was a really funny story that the army, the military over there, used to do all their kind of training around the area. And, and one morning, there was everybody woke up, so we're driving down the road to find a Jeep stuck on the top of one of the stones. How the hell they got it down afterwards, I've got no idea. But that's a true story. That goes way back.
Sounds like my kind of mischief. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Paul, after your visit, why was day one less stone? Can you explain that to me?
Well, that's the one they used as a ramp to drive the Jeep up to the second one.
Oh, that's it. That's the answer.
And how do you get it down? Well, that's why they made second gear, but that's a whole other story.
John O'Reilly, I just want to say, happy 55th anniversary. I know it's coming up, right? When is it?
Yeah, it's on the 18th. It's next week.
Yes,
55 years
55th.
old.
Did you,
Yeah.
John and Tash, 55 years?
Yay.
That is so amazing. 18th, wow.
That's very kind of you. Thanks very much.
You're going to go on the London Eye to celebrate?
I don't think we can. We'll just celebrate, and we'll just have a nice time together. You know.
You've got your own.
Make sure to bring Cupid along with you.
Yes, wherever that's in my magic room, and I have your playing cards here because I wanted to show someone. Which you sent me as well. So thank you. But your cube is in a special place in my magic then. So
that's so nice. Thank you, John.
Fully appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well,
that's
I
lovely.
think
Give my best to Tess. Please.
I will do. I will do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks everyone for making me feel so welcome. Thank
Not
you.
at all. It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming, John. And our second Rod, congratulations to you and Tess. Give her our best regards from everybody. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rod and from everybody. She's really is a wonderful-
Anniversarial salutations.
that sounds nice. Yes.
She's done well to put up with me for 55 years married and 60 years being together. So we're not doing too bad. We've got something right.
What's the secret?
The secret, I do what I'm told.
I'm coming up on 35, John.
A wise man.
35. Good luck. Happy anniversary to you. 35.
Thank you. The longest day of the year, June 21st.
All right. Yeah, they did. Everyone got married. A lot of people got married in June. It was a busy time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
a
congratulations.
There's a pattern emerging here, Jay. The gala show is on the 25th. His
Oh,
birthday's
no.
on the 26th. The lecture's on the 20th. His wedding anniversary's on the 21st. We never planned it that way. I just found out, Tom. I mean, there you go. Whoa, what can I say? Yeah, what can I say? Yeah, so you're gonna have to show
Cosmic connection.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we can all go on for a little while. Thank you so much for
thank
the
you.
camaraderie. Thank you for all showing up. A couple of people had to duck out and they've sent messages and so on. So thanks for showing up. Have a great Sunday. And you're all SAM members, and you should show up if you're a PIC member for the meeting tomorrow. Soon after that is V11, who I think the dean is, you're the dean of that, aren't you, John?
They're doing V12 tomorrow. They're
okay.
going to do a segment on double lifts.
Right.
So there'll be Lou Johnson and Matthew Crabtree will be focusing on that. I might sneak in. I'm shocked they didn't ask me to teach I have a one-handed double lift that I do that, but who knows? Maybe we'll share, maybe we won't. I don't know, you got to show up.
Yeah, but anyway, I think you're dean of V11. Is that right?
V1.1, the first online or
Yeah.
international, or not international, virtual.
Yeah, virtual. And seriously, thank you, John, for all that you've done, man. I appreciate it. Both personally and professionally, you rock. You really do.
I'm here to help. So if anybody needs anything, I'm here to help.
Well, man, there's been a lot of fun. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your Sunday, and I think we'll call it a wrap.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Everybody.